What we've been talking about all day long at the NFSC booth is the weaponization of the U.S. federal government. But your company has actually experienced some weaponization by government of Canadian law. So why don't you tell the audience a little bit about that so we can make the comparison to what Chinese dissidents who are members of the NFSC are experiencing in the U.S.?
Sure. A few months ago, there was a trucker convoy that was making their way across Canada just to do some protesting because it's a democracy up there. And the Canadian government wanted to shut it down because they didn't like the protest. And so the truckers decided to come to GiveSendGo to fundraise because that's what we do. We allow people to fundraise for the causes that are important for them, whether we agree or disagree with them. And so we allowed these truckers to raise funds on GiveSendGo. The Canadian government did not like that very much, and so they decided they were going to try to shut it down. But being an American company, we said, well, you don't really have jurisdiction over us, which, again, they didn't like very much. And so what ends up happening is that they do this emergency act up in Canada, trying to stop their people from receiving these funds. And now, months later, GiveSendGo is being named in a class action lawsuit of like $300 million for just allowing people to raise funds for something that was not illegal, something that was just important to them.
Right. So this is something that members of the new federal state of China can relate to quite personally, especially the Chinese dissidents who escaped communist China and made it to the United States or other parts of the West. There are federal government agencies, the SEC, DOJ, FBI, IRS, that have gone after indirectly on behalf of the CCP these dissidents and have sent them subpoenas, have brought them to court, have required that they have made it such that they have to spend more money than they have in order to defend themselves just for speaking freely, speaking out against the CCP. And I think that your company can clearly relate to that. So give your reaction to the biggest example of this happening in the new federal state of China is our leader and founder, Mr. Miles Guo, being sued over 75 times and having his assets drained because of this lawfare. So why don't you give your reaction to that from a business perspective as opposed to just an individual being gone after by a government agency?
Sure. So we see that happening. We actually get a lot of subpoenas and the government asking us for information from our platform. And we actually push back a little bit, but we also understand that if they can tie you up in lawfare, causing you millions of dollars and just the defensive, you can't continue necessarily doing what you need to do.